Alright. Why are you here? Who can tell me? I would like to know why you are here.
Because we have camping.
You're camping? Okay. On what? Innovation. What does innovation mean? Something new. So what do you expect new from this?
Green energy.
Green energy. What is green energy? What do you understand by green energy? Less impact on the environment. Sustainable. What do you mean by sustainable? Okay, good. Anybody else? Green energy. What do you understand by green energy? Less global warming. Okay. Can you give me example of green energy? Solar energy. Hydropower. Biomass. Okay. Anything else? I'm looking forward to an innovative answer because we are for innovative camp. Geothermal. There's something else that you're forgetting. No, you don't have to look far away, you have to look within you. Hydro, okay, but that's outside. The energy is within this room. Electricity is from many sources, may not be always sustainable. What about human energy? Huh? It's not sustainable? Human energy is not sustainable? But you can see there is a cycle. Right? So energy is sustained. By the definition that you talked about, energy is sustained. And perhaps the human energy is the most important energy to harness. If you can harness it, human energy, you can do many more interesting things. You talked about innovation, you said something new. When you say something new, what does it mean? You know the definition of innovation? Have you heard about the definition of innovation so far? You've had 1.5 days already?
Creation.
Yes, creating new things. Why do you want to create new things? Are all new things good?
Not really.
So?
You make something better.
So
You make
it's
something
like
better.
Better. Okay. Well, my definition of innovation is when you stop thinking the old way. As simple as that. We innovate when we stop thinking the old way. And we are always taught to think the old way. From your kindergarten to the school, now in the college, we are all taught to think the old way. You learn something and you are supposed to reproduce it for your exam. If you reproduce it well, you pass the exam. So we are all the time being told this is the way to do things. And that's the old way always. So if you want to innovate, you need to stop thinking the old way. Then you get new ideas, you get innovation. Okay? But unfortunately, we are tuned, our society makes us such that we always think the old way because we are told this is the way to do things. Right? So many things that we as teachers teach you is not necessarily the best way to innovate. Do you get the point? So if you want to innovate, you must cut off from the past and think in a different way. Because very often we are so much tuned to it that we can't think out of the box. Innovation is thinking out of the box, but we always think within the box. Get it? So, and then we talked about green energy. I said you have to think about the human dimension. We don't have to always look for outside. And when you talk about innovation, is it linked with technology or not? Many of you, I understand, have engineering background. You're studying engineering, but some of you are not engineering students. So when you say innovation, what does it link to? Technology? Is it only about technology? Yes. Creation, of course, it can be with something concrete, with hardware. There is an innovation which is related with hardware, to understand hardware, but there can be innovation in the soft way. Can you give me an example of innovation in a soft way? Do you understand my question? Innovation, because very often we say this is an innovation, so we have to have something physical to say this is an innovation. Can you have some innovation which is not physical? Sorry? Theory? No, not really. Sorry? Not really. I'm looking for some other words. Technological innovation, can there be other types of innovation which is not technological? Then you have social innovation. Okay. There are many other fields, so it's not necessary that you have to only have engineering background to innovate. You can have social innovation, you can have political innovation, you can have cultural innovation. So there are different types of innovations possible to change, bring about change in the society. It's not just about hardware. Do you understand that? So we are not always thinking about something concrete, something physical to say that this is innovation. There can be innovation in the way of thinking. That's why I talked about human energy. Okay, if you have any questions, you can stop me, you can ask me. I want to make sure that you understand whatever I say. Okay, so I'm here to communicate with you, not only just to go through the slides. So please ask me questions when you don't understand something.
So, I have a question about when we talk about it's not hardware, it's software. Software is when we want to introduce a new thing, we need to change all of people mindset on their theory or on their social innovation. You need to change the mindset or not?
Sometimes you have to. Sometimes it helps you to change the mindset. People again think only in one direction. When you say bringing social innovation, I make people think in a different way than they have been thinking in the past. And that can make changes in the society. Okay? For the better, like you said, some of you said it's for the betterment. There can be many ways that you can improve things. You can make them, you talked about sustainable, you can make them green. So I don't want to limit the word only in terms of green means environment friendly. Today green has to be, you heard about the triple bottom line. Have you heard about the triple bottom line? Nobody has heard about triple bottom line. Okay. Whatever we do today, people like to look at not one benefit. Very often the business is doing business, let's say an industry is doing business for what? Why do you do business? To generate money, profit. Okay? Profit. But can the business be done without thinking about the environment? Cannot be. Okay? So if profit is the only motivation, business cannot survive for long. Can the business be done without thinking about the people and the society? So you have to think about what they call 3 P's. People, profit, and planet. Okay? So if you want to do innovation, think about the triple aspect of innovation. The innovation should be profitable, That means it should make business sense. It should not be something that people lose, then nobody is interested. And from economics point of view, it should be good. From social point of view, it should bring good things. Some innovations are nice, but they don't really make any social changes, positive social changes. And some innovations do not necessarily bring environmental aspects. Okay? So when you're talking about innovation, we need to think about all the three. What I summarize as very easy to remember, 3 P's: profit, people, and planet. Okay? Economic, social, and environmental. Any questions? Is it clear? So when you talk about innovation, you must be constantly thinking, whatever I'm trying to do is, what are the drawbacks in the existing system? You cannot innovate without analyzing what is the present situation. Okay? You have to find out what are the drawbacks, what are the constraints. And then you think about what can I bring about by which there will be a change for the good, for the betterment. In terms of economics, in terms of society, in terms of environment. So when you talk about green, people use many, many words. I don't like to use green. Because the moment green means people start, something else you must have heard, greenwashing. Have you heard about greenwashing? It's like you think that anything painted green is green. That's called greenwashing. Like if you take a building, you paint it green and you say it's a green building. Yeah. Okay? And you'll be surprised to see how many businesses do greenwashing. Okay? They do something on the surface, very minimal, and they say we are green. Are they really green? So when I talk about green, again I refer to the triple bottom line. Okay? It's not just about environment, because they have to go together. Sustainability is a combination of all the 3 aspects. Societal aspects, environmental aspects, and economic aspects. Then only you can have growth which is sustained. Because everybody finds that way. We are talking about equitable development where everybody is taken care of. We are talking about gender balance. There is no differences between men and women. How do you bring in equal opportunity? All these are part of sustainability. And when you innovate, you need to think about these aspects as well. Okay? So I will start with that. I wanted to focus on what I mean by clean energy. And you will see at the end of, by the end of my presentation, it's not just about solar, wind, biomass, etc. There will be other types of, I already gave you a hint about human energy as well. Okay, I will start with the quiz first. What, according to you, is the biggest energy innovation in human history? Energy innovation. This is the quiz. Think about it. If you have an answer, raise your hand. Think about it. Yes? Sorry? Solar panels, you think is the biggest innovation. Biggest innovation does not mean them it will be spectacular, but they can have big impacts. Dynamo. Okay, good. Electricity, yes. But electricity is only, history of electricity is only 110 years. People lived before that. You know, electricity may be 100, 120 years, not more than that. It's quite new. Yes. Very good, my dear friend. Okay. The biggest innovation, I will explain to you why. Discovery of fire. That was a big innovation. You know why? Why do you think that, why do I think that discovery of fire is a big innovation. We can cook. If you can cook, what is the advantage of that?
Survive.
You survive. But people survived, you know. People have been surviving for millions and millions of years before that. So what did it bring more? Like what? Okay, good. Anything else? Anybody else has some answer? Yes. Yes, these are all we are talking about. Again, I go back to physical improvements. But something else happened. Maybe you are not aware of it, so I am sharing it with you. Okay? Fire brought something which was not happening in the past, which is not just about, of course, all that you have said is true. Metals came in and many other things came in. We'll start with something like this. Do you know how much is the daily energy intake of a person? It's about 8,000 to 10,000 kilojoule. Okay. That is the energy that we take in. Calorie, we said calorie is about 2,000 kilocalories. Okay. So you use those words, calories, etc. So that is the intake, human intake. Where does that go? And of course that will depend on whether you are a male or a female, you are tall or short, you have more body weight or less body weight, whether you sit and work or whether you are very active, all those will affect how much is our intake. Right? So if you think about that much, where does it go exactly? It is used for three purposes. The first one is what we call the basal metabolic rate. That is the amount of energy that the body needs to function. What does the body need energy for? Sorry? Doing activities? Doing activities are separate. Physical activities below. Just for the metabolic rate. The machine is functioning, human machine is functioning. Why do you need to make it function? To survive, yes, good. But what does it do exactly? Where is that energy used mostly? For digesting food? Don't forget that. You just had your lunch. And you can say after the lunch you feel a little bit drowsy. Why is that? Because part of the energy is going to digest your food. Something else that you forget. The body is a fantastic machine. The heart starts beating when you're born, till we die. Never stops. Do you know any other machines in the factory that can do that? They have breakdown. Right? And something else. Our body is a fantastic machine. What does it do? Body temperature. What is the temperature of the body? 37? Can it be 39? Or can it be 35? What happens if the body temperature goes down to 36 or 38? I don't have energy, I'm sick. Right? But the body is telling you, giving you a signal that it's not just about fever or anything, temperature, that something else is not all right in your body. This is a signal to tell you, hey, slow down. Find out what's wrong. Get back to the normal condition. Right? So, body is a fantastic machine which knows how to maintain the temperature all the time at 37 degrees. It knows how to keep it at 37 degrees when you go out to a very cold environment where it's minus 10 degrees. Still it's maintaining 37 degrees. So what does it do that time? It tries to fight the cold. It produces more and more heat. That's why in cold climate you feel more hungry. You eat more, you need more energy. Right? And you can see in a very hot day, you don't feel like eating. Because the body is not able to reject that heat. Outside temperature is higher than the body temperature. It can go to 40 degrees. 39 degrees. Then your body is not able to reject that heat. Right? So the body is all the time trying to adjust. And you do something which is voluntary and something which is involuntary. You understand voluntary? By own wish. So when it is hot, you dress in a different way. Okay? When it's cold, you dress in a different way. That's voluntary. Involuntary, when it's cold, you start shivering. That's a way to keep your body warm. Right? So you can see how this machine adjusts the temperature exactly to the level all the time. Now, if the machine is so good, why are you so worried about putting the temperature in the rooms everywhere at 23, 24, 25? Body can adjust to that. Right? Because you're talking about energy, we need to understand that. And unfortunately, as we have made progress with innovation, we think that thermostat is a great innovation. It sets the temperature. And when it sets the temperature, the body loses some of its capacity to act against the nature. So as a result, you can see this generation is more fragile than 2 generations before us. Because your body, you're not giving your body the chance to go through these changes. Everywhere you go, thermostat is taking care of temperature. Go to the classroom, you go to the hotel, you go to offices, everywhere. You go to the car, air conditioner is put on. So as a result, we are using a lot of energy to make our body more lazy, to make our body less resilient. You understand the word resilient? All of you? No? Resilient means the ability to resist. Okay? So you put your hand, okay, I push and you resist. Right? So this is, you are being resilient. But if you don't practice that regularly, if I just come in, you fall. So you don't have that resilience. So as a result, we have adopted some of the innovations which are helping us feel better, but not necessarily making us more resilient. So we are becoming less and less resilient to climate change. And the climate is changing because of some of the innovations which is creating more greenhouse gas emissions. So some innovations have not been that good. We need to understand that. When you talk about innovation, we need to understand which innovation is a good innovation, which is not so good innovation. We think it's good because, yes, I can go into the air-conditioned room, very comfortable. But after a few years, your body is no longer capable of adjusting to differences in temperature. To the extent now, you can see the new, most modern air conditioner, they have something called fuzzy logic. Okay? And you can see some air conditioner, they write, I feel control. So the air conditioner sees how you are adjusting the temperature. When you are going to sleep, you increase the temperature. When you are doing jogging, you decrease the temperature. When you are sitting, you maintain certain temperature. So it keeps that in the memory. Okay? And even if you are not doing anything, it will automatically adjust. And that's something which is called fuzzy logic. Okay? So human beings are also trying to see what way you can innovate to counter some of the negative effects of our innovations. So not all innovation is going towards the 3 P's that I talked about. People, profit, and planet. So you need to keep that in mind all the time. Okay. So go back to here, I was talking about metabolic rate. You can see 60 to 70% of the energy that you get from food goes from only for metabolic rate. Physical activity, another 20 to 30%. Physical activity means you stand up, you walk, you stretch your hand. All that is, any activity that you do requires energy. And the body has a fantastic way to supply the energy wherever you need. You know, I did that gesture with her, and the body sensed that and sent immediate sign to her hand, resist. So it works very well. The human system is excellent. That's why I said, don't forget about human energy. Then comes the last part, which is the thermic effect of food, which is the amount of energy your body uses to digest the food you eat. And that is where I talked about after you eat food, you have to digest. And only about 10% is required for that. Okay? The rest of it is for metabolic fit, keep our body warm, fit, and for physical activities. Now, when there was no fire, what was the situation? Was the balance like this? When there was no fire, people ate raw food. So when they ate raw food, it was much more difficult for them to digest. So a lot of energy went to digest that food. So the balance was not 10%. Much of the energy that they had get was going to the thermic effect of food. And especially at a lower age, when you're a baby, that's where your brain grows. And those days, human beings' brain did not develop. Because there was no fire, they could not cook, and all the energy went for the thermic effect of food.